The car was probably the worst rusted car I've ever worked on. The customer wanted to restore the car for over 30 years, so he basically got in touch with me, and the rest you see is pretty much history. CW Restoration has been in business over 15 years. We specialize in the muscle cars, and in particular we specialize in Pontiacs. The customer wanted to restore the car for over 30 years. Finally, he pulled the trigger and gave me a call, and we went to look at the car, and the rest you see is pretty much history. Probably the worst rusted car I've ever worked on. The owner of this car actually bought this car brand new in 1963. It was his daily driver car. He tells me stories where he took the back seat out and put a crib in the back just to take his kids around in the convertible. Late 70s, the fuel tank fell out of the car, so he had parked it in his barn. And the animals basically destroyed the inside of the car. After 30 years, he decided to redo the car. It had a lot of sentimental value to him. So he basically got in touch with me, and we pulled it out of the garage after 30 years and started the restoration. The car was really, very rusted. The frame was real bad. We ended up putting new floors in, new trunk, fenders. The doors are all original to the car. Motor is original. Basically had to rebuild the motor, built the transmission, all new brakes, all new suspension. Rear end was rebuilt. The hardest part of the car was probably locating a 64 frame for it. Here we have the 389 tri-power, 348 horse motor. All the GTOs came with the chrome valve covers. You can see this is an early production GTO because of the dual belts that they put on the alternator for power steering. It does have an upgraded brake system just for safety reasons. Inside the car, there is the wood wheel, pretty rare option. And it did have these seat belts, which were not mandatory in '64, but this particular car came with seat belts on it. This was unique for the '64. '65, they went to the one underneath the plate. And there she is in all her glory. We wanted to be correct for the car. We did upgrade a little bit on the suspension. We did put a rear sway bar in it to help handling. The '64 GTO was special because it was the first car that had a medium-sized body with a big motor. Basically, they were the first muscle cars. He's been offered a lot of money for the car, way over 6 figures. The car is the first convertible produced for the '64 GTO. I prefer the classic cars just because they've got character. You look at the new cars today, they all look the same. Personally, the old cars are where it's at.